Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Beachside Talks. I'm your host, Kobe, with special guests.
Lauren Kierra.
Hi, Miss Lauren. I'd like to thank you for coming. I've been trying to set this up for a minute now. So
I appreciate your persistence.
I'm glad I finally got you here. Let's get to it. Let's tell the folks about yourself.
So my name is Lauren. I do go by Lauren Kierra. That is my real name. My first and middle name.
No
Um,
gimmicks.
I do sing. I dropped my first project in 2020. I think October of 2020.
So 2 year anniversary.
Yeah.
How you
So,
celebrate?
yeah.
How you celebrating it?
About working on my next project. The first year anniversary was like, but then like this year, I think I'm just so flustered with everything else. I am a journalism major, and right now I am in school again. Won't be, disclosing for what until that's completed. But yeah, I have a child. He's so sweet. I love music. Yeah.
This interview is just completely letting everybody know about you. So
Mhm.
if there's anything off limits, you can stop me. We can go.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of, like you said, 2020, you dropped Muse
Mhm.
with the dollar sign to the end.
Mhm.
What was your inspiration for that project?
Whew. So I've sang my whole life, generally like chorally, choir. So I kind of sat on whether or not I should actually like sing and do music, in a recording aspect. So to be honest, can I cuss? Oh, to be honest, motherfuckers was just playing with me. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, it had just been so much that had transpired in my life. And I think that, I was kind of tired of being the muse. I was always so present with everyone whose life I was in. And I would see, it was kind of like, and not to get like too deep, but it was kind of like I felt as though my energy was just being absorbed, like inspo, energy, like all types of shit. And I'll see people, because most of the people I associate with are artists of some form. And so a lot of people at the time, prior to me completing the project, it's like they were kind of taking my energy and using it for their own gain, and I was kind of left feeling depleted. So I think Muse was kind of like my rise up with the big middle finger type vibe. And instead of, complaining about being the muse, it was kind of like reclaiming that shit. Like, okay, I am the muse, I'll be that. But tell the people who taught you type shit.
Because I was listening to it, and it seemed like you came from a very vulnerable place. I didn't know if there was relationship hurt or whatever,
Mhm.
but you can tell that it was a lot of pain while you, I want
It
to say
was.
pain while making
It
it.
was,
So
yeah.
I was just wondering the headspace you were in when you were making it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it was I definitely was in a long relationship that, of course, with the length of time and then the age that I was, because I'm only 27, so the duration of that relationship was from like my teen years into my womanhood. And I think that is such a pivotal time, and I learned so much, but I was pissed. I was pissed. Like, I'll just keep it book. Like, I was mad. And so I just took the legal route and wrote that shit. And here we are.
It's the same headspace you're heading in going to your next project, or you're in a different space right now?
So the title of my next project is Bad Guy. Bad Guy is kind of like
I love it.
Muse's evil cousin. Like, they're related, but Bad Guy is more focused on my shadow side. So I think Muse was very vulnerable and open, and all emotions that I was obviously willing to share. But Bad Guy is kind of more about the dark phase of the moon, like the side of you that you don't really express too much. I have some content on there that is a little similar to some of the emotions on Muse, but Bad Guy is kind of like, you know, of course, people tend to run with their own narrative, and I feel like we all are a bad guy to someone or someone's. So it's one of those things that, again, like, I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that. You know I'm not that. I know I'm not that. But since that's what, you know, makes it easier to taste, you want to say it, so I'll be that. And I think Bad Guy is kind of like, just like Reformation. Muse, even the vibe of Muse was very bright, very light, kind of, the way I think of it is just like flowery. Bad Guy is way more dark. And every song's not gonna be like, you know, some dark shit, but it's just a little different and a little more, I don't want to say serious, but a little more, I guess, serious, mature. I feel like my sound is different as far as just growth. I still have my sound, but it is just a reflection of kind of like recovering from being the goddamn Muse. Like, you know, right? They love you till they don't, right?
Yeah. And a lot of times it's good to be the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you good guy too long, they'll take advantage of it for real.
Exactly. And that's kind of like where this is headed.
You ghostwrite too, right?
Have
Officially or unofficially?
Unofficially, I've ghostwritten a few things. Nothing just major yet. Generally, just kind of fill in type shit wherever, you know, if people need help with anything, like, I'm always just like, okay, cool, because I write in my sleep, I write when I eat, like, it's just, whether it's songs or whatever, like, so I've done a few things, but not much. I would love to do so much more, but I think people are sometimes, like, scared to ask about things like that, so.
Do you feel like you would be a better writer or a better just singer in general?
So, kind of still discovering that, because I just accepted the fact that I'm willing to sing in front of people.
Stage fright?
Yeah, I don't really know about that. Like, because when I'm on stage, I don't feel that, but the build-up and the anxiety prior makes me like, am I tripping? So my goal was always like, I'm just gonna be a songwriter because no one will see me. But then it was like, wait, I want to sing this shit too. So I think, in my opinion, now I think that I am a better songwriter and songmaker than vocalist. I would love to become a performer. I performed a lot as a child, from like age 4 until now. So it's kind of weird that I feel that way, but creating a song is very natural for me. Like, most of the songs on my project I wrote in under 40 minutes. Like, of course, I went back and proofread and like tweaked some shit, changed it, but it kind of comes so easy for me that I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, it's fun, but sometimes it's just like, it comes so easy that I procrastinate because I know whenever I'm need it done, like, it won't be shit to get it done, and that's not always healthy. So, you know, but yeah, I'll say songwriting is probably my stronger point.
That's how I am when I write paper. Like, I know it's gonna take less than a day, so I'll wait till the day before to try to get it done. But then you don't feel like this added pressure on you when you do that, because I do with me. Like, damn, I need to get this right. But
I think it definitely puts me in a corner. It definitely limits your options. And for this project, as much as I just want to put it together and hurry up and put it out, I cannot tell you how many times, and I finally got over it, but the first year that Muse was out, listening to shit that I felt like I should have changed. But I just didn't have the time because I did it at the last minute, and you know, I didn't have so much time to go over it over and over again, and the things that I would be tripping out, people were like, what? Like, no one, and I'm like, you don't hear what I hear. Like, this sounds terrible. Like, why did I do that way? So it definitely adds pressure. And it's something, well, I'm not going to lie and say it's something I work on, because it's not something I actively work on, but I do try and shift my creative process. Like with beats, I will sit on them longer instead of like, because I'm the type, if you send me a beat, like I'm gonna do something with it, so I try to sit on it and let that shit get ingrained in my head and give myself a chance to you know, like have some different options about what direction I want to take it into, because I'm a very first thought, first act type of person, and which is good and bad. So it does make it hard, but I know once I get in my zone, like I just feel so hungry, so something will come out of it. But that's the reason why this project is not out yet, because I'm really trying to make it exactly how I want it. So yeah.
You think you're your biggest critic?
It's so bad, and I think that I'm very charismatic, and I think that charisma like equals hyper confidence to a lot of people. Like, you know, you're always laughing, you're always this, like, surely you know, think of yourself what we think of you. And it's not like, oh, I hate myself, like I love myself, but I think that when it comes to working, like I have this thing, and it's something that like my artistic peers are always like reminding me to stop doing, but you know, I don't really compare myself to people who are in similar situations as me, like from where I'm from, on the same level of what I'm comparing myself to Beyonce. That's an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an issue because it makes you strive to be better, but the professionals that I dive into, I'm looking at that. So I'm always gonna feel like until until I sound like that. And then, you know, I know they deal with that. So it's something that realistically I know, you know, I have to, because I do believe that my thought process can manifest into, you know, real time. So I try to not be my biggest critic, but because, you know, we know ourselves, we know our flaws, we know our fuck ups, we know our weaknesses, and it makes you just have like imposter syndrome. Like, oh, y'all think this, but y'all don't even know. Like, sometimes I be crying at night, like, you know, like it's just, it's, I don't know. It's good to be your own critic, to have accountability over self, but you can take it so far sometimes where you're not even giving yourself, you know, respect and credit. So I'm finding that balance. I think that's like a lifelong, you know, thing that I feel like people deal with whatever they do. So yeah.
What do you think that derived from? Like that being overcritical of yourself, want to compare yourself to the top of the top, not just everybody else around you?
Honestly, and not to get too deep, but I keep saying that and I go all the way deep, but I think my childhood, and it's not, I had the most perfect childhood, it's not like any weird shit, but it's like I was always the overachiever. And you know how when you're a kid, you're the star in certain segments of your life. So whether it was preschool, you were doing your shit, or in grade school, like you, whatever it is, like, and I think that I always knew the standard that I was subconsciously being held to in different spaces, and not at home, but like mainly socially. Like the standard I was always held to, I never understood why, so I always felt like I had to fit that standard or surpass it. And I think that now, and I'm gonna be very transparent, I am very hypercritical in general, so I assume that others are that hypercritical of me as well, and a lot of times they're not, like, but I can be very hypercritical, and I think that I'm like, are they thinking about me? Would I be thinking about other folks sometimes? This is crazy. But then it's like, none of this shit is real and it doesn't really matter. So ball out, like do your shit. It, you know.
You seem like you have such a bubbly personality. Is that you being nervous or you this is you?
No, unfortunately, I'm not nervous at all. I wish I could be a little less bubbly, but I was really shy as a very young child. I came out of my shell probably in elementary school, just through again overachieving, but I think I'm very just naturally charismatic. It's I don't really know. I think it's my parents are that way. Like everyone's just bubbly. A lot of people think I'm funny, and now that's crazy because I don't generally try to be funny. So, you know, it's just one of those things. But I've always been this way. Always. Sometimes I hate it, but I talk a lot. I'm loud.
That'll be heard.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to get from your music?
I just want people to be able to resonate with it. I don't want to. So it's kind of weird because when I put out my first project, I really didn't know what to think, and I did it solely for myself. I remember like praying and telling God, like, I don't care about numbers, like how many people engage with it. Like I just want this shit to be felt. Well, I didn't cuss to God, but I just want, you know, this to be felt because that is how I connect with music. I think once you establish that you can feel what someone is saying or doing through their art, I think that establishes a connection or a relationship. And it doesn't mean you know the person personally, but I just want people to feel what I feel. And some shit, it just does not feel socially appropriate to say or bring up out of the blue. And so, like, if in my song I'm talking about the fact, like, nigga, I want to spit on you. Like, that's how I feel right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't help how we feel at times. Like, it's really weird to just say that out of the blue. So, and that's very surface level. But, you know, like, or for example, I think on Muse, what song do people resonate with the most, like, emotionally? I think probably As For Me. So many people messaged me very sentimental things about that song, and it was weird to me because the things that they were saying is definitely how I felt, but I wasn't, I guess, expecting that response. Like, I think as an artist, you know that people are gonna listen, but it's like, but do y'all hear me? Like, you know what I'm saying? So being heard was like, oh, like, and I think that's kind of like my strong suit is relatability and just personability in general. And I look at artists like, as far as female artists like Tink and Kehlani, they're very in-depth and emotional. And I think especially Tink, like,
she just dropped a great project too. I don't like how it didn't get talked about enough.
She is not talked about enough, and that I could talk about that for hours. But I think, you know, every time you listen to her songs, like, if you're one of those people that don't like music that you can emotionally connect to, you'll probably feel like, oh, she always going through something. We're always going through something. Like, are we not? Like, we're always going through something. And even, like, for my project Bad Guy, a lot of the shit that I'm singing about is no longer my reality. So it is kind of weird now, like, you know, things have totally changed. But at one point, I very much so felt this. So yeah, my whole objective with my music is just to be felt, and just, like, I want people to feel seen when they hear the things that I say, you know.
Speaking of Tink and Kehlani, are there any more artists that you just resonate with, that you listen to for motivation or something?
So many people, but I think as far as I'll just keep it a buck. As far as, like, motivation, like, if I'm just down and out, I am gonna play gospel. I am gonna put on Yolanda Adams. I am gonna play Kirk Franklin and all the other boys and girls. Like, I'm gonna put it on if I'm just down and out. But as far as, you know, feeling like Beyonce is an artist. When I listen to her, I feel hope. Like, this is crazy because her vocal development since Destiny's Child until now is ridiculous. So it's like I always feel really inspired. Kehlani, I love because I kind of watched her build all that shit up. Like, you know, her fan base, her performance skills, like her songwriting. And she has a very loyal fan base, I feel like, because they resonate with her and they feel it's a demographic of full of feelers, people who feel and are okay with accepting what they feel and knowing that temporary or not, this is what I feel. So those are kind of I really like Leia. I don't know if you know her, but she's like a little bit like newer to the, I guess I don't know if she's considered mainstream yet, but she has a crazy style, and she's a very good lyricist. So yeah, I think that's probably it for that I can think of right now.
Yeah. Seeing everything, I hate to use the term female, you're artist.
I do too. When I say female artist, I twitch.
I cringe, like, I don't like that. But
I hate it too, but
but seeing all the recent disagreements, how do you deal with your disagreements or beefs, quote unquote?
So generally in my life, I think I ignore most things because I am a firm believer, whether it's delusion or not. I do think you can ignore things for so long till they're almost like not a thing. But I'm very assertive. I don't have problems with people like that, and if there are, I always try to confront it, not in like a come outside, like nothing like that, but like if there is ever an issue enough for there to be visible, you know, like conflict or some sort of issue, I always want to confront it. Again, I'm very assertive and I don't like passive aggression. Just be aggressive, like leave the passive at home. And so generally, male or woman or man, I'm man or woman, like if there's an issue, I like to kind of face it head on, because I'm a firm believer that a lack of expressing how you feel or communicating, it never works out. You can have an issue, like if I have an issue with her, which I've never had an issue with her, but I'm just saying, like for an example, if I have an issue with her and I don't speak on it and I just coast like everything is good, when shit hits the fan, because it will hit the fan in one way or the other, I'm gonna look crazy, not her, because I ain't said shit. I've been acting normal this whole time. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell my people, like, if there is an issue and you feel like, bro, this may be something that turned into something else, address it head on. And my motto is, it's like, if it's a friend and I feel like you being weird, I'm gonna say something in a joking manner. Like, you sure? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if I feel like I don't want to come off in a way that offends you, that's still me addressing it, because we can just get this shit out the way and I can get clear understanding. And generally, you'll be surprised how much shit really ain't the way you thought it was, until you spoke to the person directly and ain't nothing going on really. It's all just kind of like fluff. So generally I just kind of ignore shit until unless I, if it's enough smoke in the air that we can all see it, then I'm gonna fight through the smoke and come see what's going on. But like, I'm, never trying to be like
a bully.
Yeah, hell no. Like, I don't have time for that.
You tweeted something a while ago, I think. Well, I can't remember what it was verbatim, but I know it's about the AI in music. Can you tell us about that paper?
So, AI, or artificial intelligence in music, I'm gonna be real. A lot of that shit is sometimes I want to pretend like it's not real, because I'm really into like futuristic things and just all of that. And right now, it's okay, even though we have artists, you know, fighting for their rights, fighting against their labels and all types of stuff. But one day, and I do believe it will be a day where we are still alive, artificial intelligence will have the ability to curate and create songs and works of art that will probably sound better than humans. And when it gets to that point, and when humans are more interested in the better sounding things, because let's be for real, that's what's going to happen, it will deplete the actual physical artist. To me, I kind of think that. Now, perhaps there's a way that artificial intelligence can, you know, amp up that shit for physical artists, but I want to be real, anything that's not humanly, I feel like is to be a little feared until we know exactly what's going on. Like, I don't know if you've seen, I don't know which record label it was, but they tried to put out like that fake rapper with the locks or whatever. I think he had like blue locks or whatever. That didn't go so well when that shit had came out, because
most of the time the first attempt at something don't, but it gives you time to where did it go wrong.
Exactly. And that's why I got a little nervous, because I was like, they took that thing away so fast, like that's because they're just working on them. And I seen the actual rapper that was saying, you know, this is me, but it's not me. So when we have humans, especially black ones, fighting for their right to be in these spaces and to be respected and, you know, treated in accordance to their performance and accolades, how will we measure? Or what are we gonna give a Grammy? Give it up for AI? Like, how is that gonna go? You know?
I think it's just ways for the record labels to save money. You cut off the middleman. We control everything. We ain't gotta pay you for your rights.
You ain't gotta pay nobody. It's a money hungry, number fixated game, and I think that, you know, again, it's a little scary. I never thought we'd see like robots delivering food and stuff, but here we are, you know. So I don't know. My paper kind of ended on the I don't know tip. Like, I can point out the things that I think could be beneficial with that, but the issue that makes it get deeper is the fact that AI will assist with the technical side of things, like composing music. How do you credit and copyright? Like, you know, it's just so much that comes with that. But I kind of do feel like the negative will outweigh the positive. But again, hope for the best. Don't want that to happen. But I think that, you know, how we had the what is it, like record era, then the, you know, cassettes, then CDs, now streaming and the internet digital age and everything. I think and hope that there can be a way for you know, people in the music industry to mesh with more AI things instead of being just flat out replaced. It may not be for a long time, but the fact that it's already in the works, you know, just a little suspicious.
All right, let's get off music for a second. Are you single?
I am single, but I am dating someone, if that makes sense.
Nah, because it's a yes or no question. Are you single or are you not?
I'm single, but I am exclusively dating someone. Like, I have to put that in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
All right. Did you shoot your shot at him, or was it?
Yes.
How did you shoot your shot?
So, I had kind of been seeing him, and I was just gonna keep it cool, but like, I just kept seeing him, and then I was just kind of like still thinking about him after I saw him. And when I say see him, I don't mean like one-on-one. Like, I would see him and he would not see me, and I would be like, damn, like, So,
Not you a stalker.
I'm not. If I really broke down the reason why I saw him, like, I was doing something and he was in the area and I would see him and I was like, damn, like, I don't know who that is. Like, I think I want to know. And so he made a post about getting a tattoo, like a face tattoo. So I just like sent him the tweet and I was like, I think you should do it. And then from there, you know, tattoo talk, and then the rest is history.
He's so easy. You flirt a little bit.
It took time.
We can't stand up.
It took time, but
when you say time, what's time? How long? A week?
No, I'd say like almost like a month before we like actually linked up and got on the like true interpersonal, tip.
Okay, before him, on average, how long would a guy be in your DM trying to meet up with you before you would actually meet up with him?
Do niggas get out the DMs?
You just proving my point.
I'm gonna say this. I think that and I know it sounds head ass and probably like a lie, but I really don't like attention in that manner. Like, it's awkward to me, which is probably why, like, with the guy I'm dating now, like, I shot my shot. Like, it's just kind of weird to me sometimes. There have been guys that, like, I know you see, like, girls posting Facebook messages, and it'll literally be since, like, 2009. Like, hey, hi, what you doing? Hey, hi, where you? Like, no response. Like, things like that, that's always going to be a thing. But as far as someone actively trying to pursue me, and I'm, like, stiff-arming them, and they're still doing that, that's not really a thing, because if I see that you're that interested, 10 times out of 10, I'm just going to kind of, like, curve it into, like, a... what's up? Like, and we could be cool. You won't hate me. Like, I won't have to be mean. You know what I'm saying? I won't have to be annoyed by you, and you can kind of get the picture, and we can be cool. Like, I think that's kind of, if that makes sense.
It do, but I'm thinking about something. I hate the curve. Just block me.
See, and
when
that's
I know
the
you
thing.
if we talking in our feet, hey, can you just block me?
See, but I don't feel like it has to be like that.
It's for my pride. I'm proud.
My homeboys
block
be saying
me.
stuff like that, and I'm like, why are y'all saying that? Like, I have a homeboy, I'm not gonna say his name, but when he see this, he will laugh. If a girl get a boyfriend or get pregnant, he's like, oh, it's blocked. Like, damn!
Like, why am I still following you?
So you thought you was gonna fuck with all your followers that was single and unpregnant? Like,
part of my collection.
I mean, like, but see, that's the thing. I don't really value humans in only one avenue. So I'm never trying to, I mean, when I was younger, yeah, because nothing really mattered. But, like, I'm not, if I wanted to get to know somebody or be, like, on that tip, I'm going to want to know you outside of me thinking of you romantically. Because that's not real. Now, if you're talking about some just trying to fuck shit, then, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the logistics there really matter if there's an evident common, like, goal. But, you know, I think niggas don't want to be that bugaboo, and so they do try to find a way to present themselves. And I always respect people that are respectful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, you know. Now, some niggas take it real far. Like, oh, that shit is another situation. But
Man, sometimes they look and take control of you. You just say something you don't mean to say.
Yeah, no. I generally mean everything I say. It may be misplaced, but and that's cool and all, but generally, I'm telling you, like, I don't think niggas, a lot of the shit that I have had said to me, and I've always just been, you know, like, one of the guys, and it just be weird being approached like that, because I feel like, what you really want? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do anything to put myself out in a way that should turn you on. So why are you turned on?
Because we was born with a penis between our legs.
Right.
Anything a woman do if they're even if they're not trying to be in a truly feminine energy, it turns the guy on because we smell it. And it's like,
I mean, yeah,
I need that.
And I get that. But, like, again, I think for me, I've seen and been around so many boys and men that it's like, I've seen the whole, if I hit up 7, 3 will reply. You know what I'm saying? I won't be the third. I want and no, every nigga's not like that, but
majority.
Yeah.
Right.
So I my thing is that if you're not being direct and intentional, like with me or towards me, and that's in any capacity with whatever it is you want to get off your chest. If I feel like you just trying to see where you can get, I know for a fact you're doing that with many other women. As a single person, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, but as can I. And I'm not going to just fall in line with your numerical little count just because you want to do that. So I'm like, okay, like, no, I wasn't thinking about nothing with you until you came over here. So, like, no.
Alright, speaking of it, alright, we're gonna go to it. What's the best pickup line you've ever heard of, used, or have been used on you?
I'm trying to think. I think the most clever thing I heard was when I was younger. My boyfriend at the time had said something like, I hope I don't twist it up and it sound corny, but he said something like,
It normally is.
I've been talking to Webster to try to see if there's another word to describe something. It was cute at the time. Like, I was like 17, so it was so cute. I think something I said though, like in college, was like, what did I say? I was like, I don't think stories were a thing at the time, so it must have been like a photo or something, and I think I was like, damn, I watched this so and so amount of times, but the so and so amount was my number, so I watched this 501.
And it worked, huh?
Oh God, of course.
Nigga, I'm telling you, we gotta have a meeting.
But that was in college when I was like really realizing like, okay, like
Niggas are easy.
I can go for what I want. Like that's a thing that I tell women all the time. Like, I feel like just traditionally we are so used to, whether it's how we were raised or what we think socially, waiting on something to come save us, whatever it is. Whether it's like, I hear women all the time like, well, when I get a husband, XYZ, do it now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we wait on like what comes to us, and I feel like that's how you attract bullshit. If I went on the road and put my motherfucking thumb out, somebody gonna come pick me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be the right thing. The likelihood of that car picking me up being the exact fit that is for me is slim to none. So I feel like as a woman, we do need to be more okay with establishing what we want, so that when we see it, we can go for it. And if it does come to us, we'll know like that's what we want. And I don't mean like weird ass standards that no one's gonna, you know, fit. I'm just saying in general, like I'll say this. Not, you know, I know people can relate, but the times that I have entertained niggas who have come to me desperately, like, and when I say desperately, just really just excited and like whatever, it's been in shambles. It ends in shambles every single time. Like, because, and then when I think about it, I'm like, I was never even thinking about you prior to you coming up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just because of your interest in me, I gave it a chance and found some interest in you. But generally, you gonna be the one looking or feeling stupid at the end of it, because if he's coming that hard at you, that's who he is, and it probably means some other things. And this isn't like men shouldn't approach women. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the manner in which a lot of them do it that's kind of your telltale. And I feel like that mindset can keep you out of fuck shit, unless you like being in fuck shit at old age, because some people do, and that's some other shit. But I want peace. Don't nobody want to be doing all that.
Sure. You ever cheated?
No. Let me think.
If you have to think about it, I mean,
Well, because I was in a really long relationship that was a lot of like breakup, not together, you know, the
Okay, did you ever fuck somebody out of spite while y'all were on a hiatus or anything like that? Then you cheated.
No, it's not.
If you do it out of spite, it's cheating.
So,
especially if you got back with them.
I've never done anything out of spite, but as a younger woman, I think that just being transparent, when you are only used to one type of nigga or one nigga being that young, you kind of don't know how to maneuver the playing field out there. So typically you just pick up their traits and you kind of do what they do. And I don't think it was like, oh, I'm going to make you feel this, because first of all, any bitch that's fucking anybody and then trying to go tell, like, that's weird. So it was never anything like that. But I think so to answer the question, no, I've never cheated. I don't understand that when you can just do your shit like without being in a relationship. But I've definitely been not with someone like the whole we're not together when it's convenient for them, but then when it's my turn, like you know, but we weren't together though, like what's the problem? But as far as like we're in a relationship, I'm about to go cheat, no, I ain't got it in me. I'll cry, like I'm not built for that type of disloyalty.
How many times do you double back on somebody?
So I think that shit is lame. But since you asked, when I was younger, it really wasn't a time on it. It was just what I felt. So to be honest, like I've been in a situation, like I said, when I was younger, where it wasn't really like a second chance. It was just chances until I was tired. These days, ain't no doubling back. Not a friend, not a nigga, not a, like, I don't do that. I think when people know me, I'm very straightforward and clean cut. I think I make it very clear that if you end up on that side with me, that's just where you have to stay. I don't even gotta say shit. I ain't gotta do all the little internet shit. I just don't fuck with you. Because it takes a lot for me to just not want to fuck with somebody. So generally the reasons are good. I don't do the whole like spin the block shit. And you know what? Side note, I be seeing some really old people talking about shit like that, and it's just like, just do your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you gonna just do your shit, like why are you like, oh, I'm gonna spin the block with my sneaky, like you're 47. Like sit down. Like that's weird. Like, and then people are gonna do what they want to do. But I'm saying, why verbalize it with the new phrases? Like that's corny. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm corny. Like I don't get it. But nah, I ain't doubling back on shit.
When you're in a relationship, are you dominant or submissive?
I say both. I'd say an equal amount of both. I think as a woman, I'm very, I'd probably be considered a little more dominant than general. But as I get older, I do realize that being properly cared for and just feeling safe and vulnerable in a very honest way can bring submissiveness out, or submission. Like I think like as a woman and a girl growing up, the word submission always felt like some form of weakness. So I think that when I was able to find someone that understood that submission was a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? Like versus like one dominant, one submissive. Like that's not realistic, because we'll both feel, you know, sometimes you'll feel submissive, sometimes I feel submissive, sometimes you'll feel dominant, sometimes I feel dominant. So I think I'm both. Like, but I have over the past 3 years become way more submissive than I ever imagined, which sometimes I still be like, I cannot believe that, but it happens. But I'm still very much firm and dominant, and yeah, I think I'm hated for that and respected for that, so whatever.
Alright, and my last question for you is, how do you define love?
Whew. So I feel like love is, everybody love is an act, not a word. Like, and it's a form of action. I do think that question is layered, as there are just so many forms of love. Of course, the divine love will always seem to be, the most concrete because it's unconditional, and there's nothing that you can do or not do that will change that love. But as far as humanly love and whether it's platonic, romantic, familial, I think it is something that is like care. I mean, and I know that sounds so basic, but it's like when you love someone, you don't want to see them in any way, shape, or form down bad. Like, and I don't mean like suffering. I mean in any way. Like, I think about my parents. I think about growing up, and now that I have my own child, when you were younger, you'll trip and fall, your mom and dad will hurry up and grab you. Like, that's love. Like, they fuck with you. Like, they love you a lot. Like, I don't want to see you on that ground. And it's so minor because it comes naturally. We don't think about that shit. But I do think that it's like, that's love. Like, and I think when it comes to platonic and romantic, it's really hard for me to define that, because I think a lot of times we confuse that with complacency and just dealing with shit. And I think that love for self is right under love from God. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can't love myself, and I think people here, respect yourself, love yourself. Like, I know for a while, I always used to be like, yeah, of course I love myself, I respect myself, and was not doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, was not, and wasn't thinking nothing of it. Like, but when you have people in your life that show you love and respect you, I think it makes you realize, like, how are you able to give me this and I'm sitting here beating myself up, or I'm sitting here like talking bad to myself, like, or thinking low of myself. I think when you establish that, it's so easy to share that to others, and of course with boundaries, because I think that all love requires boundaries, except for literally that God-given love. I think that you understand that you'll get to the point of loving people, family, friends, lover, where there's not really much you wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? You ask anybody, like, if your mama son, what do you do? I'll kill somebody. Like, people don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I love them, and I can't, there is nothing, I think that love is timeless. I think that's why when people pass, we still feel them. We still know that feeling of how we felt towards them, and vice versa. I think it is the binding force that makes life a little okay sometimes. And I think that it's all we need. Like, not to be on some love is all we need, but like, I think that it's important, and it's I believe in, I think unconditional love is another concept that is very distorted. I do believe in loving without conditions, but I think that again, someone who loves you as much as you should love yourself will never create conditions for you to force you to love them through. If they, like, realistically, who's sticking around for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not unconditional love. That's lack of boundaries. That's lack of respect. That's lack of, your balls dropping. It's just lack. Like, it's not unconditional love anything. I think that everything is conditional, but with respect of self and love for self, I think that love is just pure care and wanting the best for people, whether it includes you or excludes you, or whatever. So yeah, really complex topic, to be real. Like, that was a good ending question, because that's layered.
Appreciate you. I love the fact that you're so articulate and know how to go in depth on everything. Do you have anything you want to tell the people?
Stay tuned for Bad Guy. It is coming soon. Working out some kinks now, so I don't really have a date yet. But within the next 5 months, my shit is coming. And also, what else? Yeah. 501, baby. We here. Like, stay tuned for more. Thanks for listening if you got this far.
All right. Thank you again for coming through.
Of course.
We're up.